I want to address a few leaks that always pop up on the machine because I don't over tighten the machine when I put it back together. I wait till it heats up and cools down, heats up, cools down a few cycles, and then I snug things down. And if I see a leak, I obviously I'll snug it right away. First thing I did was I worked on the steam wand because it was leaking from the tip here. And what I did was I took out the whole assembly, ran there's a little metal. This is a metal to metal fitting in here, and I ran it through my grinder wheel. I have a wire brush on my grinder, and I cleaned it all off again, smoothed it up, lubed everything back up, stuck it back in, and then you tighten this down. You get this started, this threaded, and then you tighten the nut down until it just snugs, like right there. And you don't want this tightened, the knob tightened when you snug it, because you can push it in too far. And so and then just turn this down. So one of the things that you might have, this is a 14 millimeter open end wrench. You may have to tighten this down a little bit more over time. I don't want to snug it too much. You can see I snugged it just a little bit. It's less than I normally do because it's really held the leakage stopped by this little washer that's in here that gets snugged up. And then you can see how easily the steam wand moves. That's where I like to keep it. Okay, so we'll close that up, and then just make sure you kind of snug that to keep the steam wand tip from leaking. Another leak I had was down here on the sightglass. These nuts I leave loose too. This is the 17 millimeter, and what you want to do is just again snug. You can see how I'm turning it. It's still a little bit loose. You don't want to. Whoops! I'm going the wrong way. That's why it's doing. You want to snug it. You don't want to overdo this because you can break the sightglass. So this is just again a nice little snug deal, and I already snugged it up quite a bit earlier. And this one I'm snugging just a hair more, so you can see. You don't want to go too tight. Just kind of finger tight. Okay, that one's finger tight. Not finger tight, but just, with just a little bit of pressure. Okay, so like I said, don't overdo these again because they can break the tube that's inside. Another leak I have that I would have yet to address. There's a spring inside this safety valve, and it's right now quite loose. And so every time you put your hand on the knob here or up in here, this never really closes. It should close. And if I don't get to close, I'll have to rebuild this or find a different spring, if the spring may be shot over time. But first of all, I'll try just to expand the spring so it'll tighten up a little bit quicker, and then we'll see if that works. So I'll take this whole assembly apart again, which I've done before. It's right here on the safety release. And I've already tightened down the nuts on the element base. So that if they don't, the screws I should say, so that they don't leak from down below. I had a leak from down below that I've already worked on. So I think that we're really getting down to making sure the machine is where it should be. Like I said, one last thing to do here, and I'll do that now that the pressure's dropped back down, and then I'll continue to work on the improvements really at this point. Thanks for bearing with me here.